Hello everyone. The following is a Photoshop tutorial going over some filter options. I'm going to start with this picture of this sci-fi landscape. Let's save it from a JPEG to a Photoshop file. Go ahead and change the name. Hit save. The first thing I always do is go over to the background layer that's locked, unlock it. You can change the name. Hit OK. Now it's an unlocked layer. I always make a copy so that you always have a version of the original in your file that you can revert back to in case you mess up along the way. Now I'm going to do a couple adjustments overall to these photos. This I've made black and white. And if you put the black and white layer on top of the original and start to adjust the opacity, it's a great way to control the saturation. This is another version of filtering. This one I've put a film grain filter on. We'll get into later how you set these filters up, but another example of adjusting this opacity to create a different effect and saturation. Okay, remember our hipster hiker from Portland? Let's drag him into this sci-fi scene. I'm going to bring him in. You can just pull him from one file directly into this. And we're going to position him in the photo where it looks kind of realistic. He's just walked upon this giant cube that's crashed in the ocean. And now let's adjust his levels a little bit to make him fit in the scene a little better. And up the contrast. It'll lower the brightness so he fits a little better in this photo. You can always check what you've done by unclicking that preview box. See, he looks much better now. Okay, one filter that I use a lot is the motion blur filter. So I'm gonna make a copy of our hiker. Go up to filters, blur, and find motion blur. There's a bunch of these, so the best way is really just to try a bunch of them to learn what they do, but this motion one is pretty cool. You'll see there's a little preview of it in the options dialog box. You can adjust the distance that it distorts the pixels. So you'll notice that motion blur field gets tighter to the original photo or farther, depending on how you adjust that distance toggle. Is that okay? Just got a slight blur there. And if you put that under the copy you've made, you'll see you still get the definition, and then you've got just that blurred edge around him. You could also adjust the opacity of the layer on top if you wanted the overall man to be a little more blurred. Let's look at another one. This is called Gaussian blur. Instead of moving the pixels like the motion blur, it evenly blurs the pixels throughout your selected image. Okay, let's go back to our original sci-fi landscape. Now I'm going to show you some artistic filters. Go up to the filter gallery, and I've made a bunch of copies of this on the side. We're going to put a different filter on each of those different layers and then look at them all side by side. So again, the best way to learn a bunch of these is to go through and just click on them, adjust the parameters, and see what they do. This one's called glass. You can see there's options within each of these filters. You can change the kind of glass that you're looking through onto this scene. Blocks, canvas, frosted. Let's go back to this tiny lens. You can adjust the size of that. Let's go to a different layer and apply a different filter. Go back to filter gallery. Let's see, I'm going to click around on a few of these. This is a fresco filter. There's a watercolor. Smudge stick is kind of cool. Neon glow. Film grain, you saw that one earlier. So one can make a new photograph look old or damaged. You can adjust the intensity of that. This one's called patchwork. Makes it look like a tapestry. You can adjust, again, the intensity. glowing edges. It's kind of fun. Inverts the photo and accents the edges with neon colors. Okay. Now I'm going to turn on each of those filters from those different layers that we set up. You can see them all side by side. I've also put a copy of the original on top and the black and white layer, adjust the opacity to tone them down a bit. That's a great way to manage your filters and images by adjusting opacities of layers on top. Let's bring our hiker back into this. You can see he's standing between two filters in this image. We're going to adjust him so that each half matches the filter that he's standing in. So let's go to the filter gallery again. This one's called Stained Glass. It's kind of cool. Let's see how it looks. It's cool, but it doesn't really fit with our photo. Let's try another one. I'm going to adjust his right half to match that scene. That was the patchwork filter, or the crosshatch. Okay. Now let's adjust his left half to be that film grain filter. Hit OK. And now you have our hiker split between these filters within this photo. Thanks for watching.